Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Zwifters live broadcast of half of the WTRL Team Trial 90, number 91. Apologies, I'm being a little bit late to the party here. We do have, though, we were able to find our way into the men's race. We'll be able to catch at least the second half or the last three quarters of the men's Platinum League race, and then we'll be jumping in with the women as they start in just about 5 minutes. We'll at least be able to get you some results as well and some of the splits that have been happening. I'm Nathan Guerra, Dave Towle. And I saw in chat Patchgate, and I do think that might have something with what was happening there, but having a little bit of fun with it, and that's what really this is all about today.
Yeah, 30 kilometers of racing today out on figure 8 reverse. Challenging circuit. Our teams will be well equipped to take this on. Hard to believe we're into 91 weeks now. I say hard to believe, I think, every time, but it's no longer hard to believe. It's just impressive what's going on out here. And we're seeing a record number of people out on Zwift, and the same thing here. A lot of folks will be new to this. So this team time trial format, it's pretty straight ahead all in all. You can start with a maximum number of 8 riders. You'll see one of the features that's come along in the last few weeks is multiple categories for the women. So we've made some big advancements there in that Vienna group. But you'll see all the different levels of racing out here, both genders and a mixed gender. And it's time to throw down out there. And as we jump in a little bit late here today, we should have teams well underway out there.
Yeah, we do. And I do have vision up here with a little bit of a different setup than we usually do have. We'll be jumping also in with the usual in just a second. We'll struggle a little bit up front to show some of the stats, but I just wanted to get live because I know people are wondering, where are you guys? So we do have vision out on course amongst the top runners right now. It looks like this was the first, I believe they were one of the first ones to jump out, 26.10. This is going to be their time over the top of the Forward Watopia KOM, 26.19. If we take a quick look here, we can start getting an idea a little bit, at least up front, of what the course records have been on this course here. As you can see here, it is going to be for the Espressos and Dopios, about a 38.25. So they've got a solid 10 minutes or so still to go here in this category for some of these riders here, Dave.
Yeah, and this when I look at the course, it is anything but straight ahead out here. There's a decent amount of climbing. This will make for a complicated ride out here. We were talking about the team starting with 8. You don't have to start with the full component of 8 riders, but what's really important is that 4th rider, because that's where your time is taken from. 6, you're still within the realm of comfortable here, but obviously the more riders that you have that can participate in the pacemaking or doing the work on the front, it'll make a big difference. This is an interesting course. You can go on to Zwift Power and see what the profile looks like, but yeah, there's a lot of up and down. It's not steady here, so it's going to take a lot of finesse from the teams out here. The experienced teams will really love this course. You don't see a lot of riders waving during the ride. I think that might have been a go ahead, I'm done with my pole wave, which would make a lot of sense. We're learning what the teams do out here, Nathan. It's been fascinating to see the, I guess you'd use the term hacks that they have when you're unable to be together in real life, the way that they communicate. You can see a couple of riders here with the Tron bikes a lot. This is a well-equipped team right now. Not everybody using the disc wheels, but you see a few of them out there.
Yeah, we can bring in some of the splits. We can bring in some of the splits here as well to try and get these up on the screen here. As we do see the Espressos. I believe this team is riding in with the A pluses, though, perhaps the Dopios for vision. And there it is. Some of the splits that are here. And it is going to be that 20. Is that going to be a 29.30? Just double check here real quick. A little small on my screen. But no, 26.10. Excuse me, 26.10. Fastest time over at 14K. It looks like some of our data came through a little bit late. 18:15. Cryo RDT, it looks like, with a solid race out here today in the Dopios with that 14K mark with the 17:55 fastest so far. Sub 18 at 14. That is the standard right now, it looks like. We will be jumping around a little bit here. Now we got new times coming in, though.
Yeah, there we go. Actually, all the way in at 20K, Nathan. Let's take a look at what we have. And this will update here. So it'll be fluid situation, 2610 for Vision. As you noted, Nathan, they're on a great day today, 8 seconds quicker than Z Sun, the Red Giants edition. And they're tied, actually. Ram Racing right there at 2618 and just 2 more seconds back to restart. And then VCRT, the Doggos. Everybody loves the Doggos at 26:55. So that's pretty tight up there for our top four right now, especially with two teams tied at 26:18. Got ourselves quite a race going on here.
Yeah, we do. We do have the women just about to jump out on course. Can hear the countdown, 7 seconds to go, and we'll be jumping in with them in just a moment as the lattes are going to be the first to go. We'll wait a minute or two as the teams do get on course. If you're unfamiliar with the TTT, WTRL has put together an amazing program where riders wait in the pens actually, and for their time to go, every single team is given a time and wait for that moment that that they are given at 1 minute intervals to get out on course. So we were able to place work a little bit of a magic here. I think we're going to be able to bring in a couple of other teams here in just a moment.
All right. Yeah, to give some perspective here, with all of the multiple zones, and this is the Platinum League that we're talking about. So these teams have qualified based on their performances last week. It didn't have to be in the Platinum League anywhere around the world that you raced. And I believe, yeah, sorry, we kind of jumped right in the middle of the pool here, but as you're joining us, teams are pretty deep into this race. You can see 24K covered of nearly 30K of racing. So that's the Vision team we're looking at. But these teams have qualified to be amongst this elite group in all of the different divisions. And typically, well, especially with everything that's been going on with the holidays and the ZRL firing up, it's been a little bit different. Some of the models that we've gotten used to, or the patterns, I should say, that we've gotten used to with teams have changed. So some teams are out there re-qualifying to get back up into the Platinum League. So there's a lot going on here in the month of January, that's for sure. But Vision's got it going on right now. That's who we're with, that 2610, but that has been bettered. Restart came in with a 2606. And then you can see the Vultures are on a great day today, Nathan. Good for them. Cryo RDT in full effect is at that 20K check. So they had 10K to go when they put a 25:47. It's their race to lose now.
25-47 Crowd DT. They have been the team that has been absolutely on fire, for sure. Vision having a solid ride though. I haven't seen something like this from them sitting in third place right now, so not bad at all. 2606 there from Restart as they come on through. Be on the watch out for them on the back end of this course. Restart does tend to finish strong, so definitely wouldn't be counting them out just yet.
It's interesting, Nathan, when you look at this course there. So it's one lap out here. You don't replicate any of the road that you race on, but there's two pretty serious climbs that we're talking in the neighborhood of 40 meters of climbing, which doesn't sound like much on paper, but when you're trying to do that at the speeds that our teams are carrying, and that's really the name of the game, is just keep the average speed high. And you're right, Vision doing a good job. This is an OG squad for sure, Nathan. Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Vision one of the first really teams of note on this platform? If you look back 4 or 5 years ago, and they're still out here at the top of their game.
Yeah, amongst one of the first teams to have kit in game. There might have been a reason for that, but yeah, Vision, long time, long
They've only got
standing.
some influencers on the team, right?
Yeah, a couple of influencers on the team early on. Actually,
Right.
I actually was the designer of this kit, old school, way
really?
back. Yeah. Well, I didn't. I mean,
I know you rode.
I had
It was your
yeah, my team, and I had. I mean, in real life, Vision was a youth development program that was all about getting Pettinger giving us a little bit of a wave there. That was all about growing the sport. I saw Nike was doing a better job, and then jumped on. Well, Nike was doing an amazing job and had a nationwide network, and so just jumped on with their movement and continued on with the Vision brand with more of a pro racing focus. So yeah, that's that, and one being early adopter, first streamer out on Zwift. Hey, Vision need a kit in game, and it was right alongside, I think, the same release when DZI, which then became eventually WBR. in game. So World Bicycle Relief, their first kit in game when it was originally the Z Foundation, uh, was around the same release actually. So a lot of history there, a lot of history.
Yeah, it was that black and red jersey, wasn't it? That
Yeah, black and red. Yeah, black and red
right.
jersey with the
The
crazy eye.
you know what Pettinger's doing here, Nathan? When he's finishing his pull, he's waving to let the riders know on the team that he's done.
Ah, good pickup there, Dave. Good pickup.
That's my guess. And right.
I like it. I like it. So he's just waving. It had
We'll
nothing to
find
do
out,
with
right?
the broadcast. Nothing to do with the
I don't
broadcast
think
at all.
so. I don't think so. But again, I've been wrong before, as they say. But I think that's what's going on. We'll see if maybe that's what Vision is doing. It would make sense to me, just a quick indicator to everybody that there's no doubt about it. I'm done with my poll. Is taking a look. Let's see if it get any close. Now, this is a great day for the Vultures here because Restart, another very strong team coming in with a 26:07. That's going to be 3 seconds quicker than Vision as we look at our virtual podium there starting to form. That's 20K in that check that we're referencing here. Look a little deeper. It's Ram Racing sitting in fourth right now. Zson are the Red Giants back in. That's very close. Just 1 second separating Ram and Zson with World Elite Zwifters presented by ZLCC, sitting only 4 seconds back behind them. Pedal Power, hearing more and more. Ensured, presented by Pedal Power. And this is Pedal Power, a standalone, 26:33 their time. VCRT, the Doggos sitting in eighth, and our ninth fastest team, the Plastic Cockneys, at 27:02. It's you don't often see them sitting there at the bottom of the table, Nathan. One of the best teams on the platform, the Plastic Cockneys.
Yeah, interesting to see, but I think this A plus category has kind of brought things to a whole new level, and I think that might be why it really has taken it to that 5.0 plus. For those that are wondering, what is the A plus, the Doppio category? It is that A plus that you see over on Zwift Power that has recently been added in the last couple of, well, not added in the last couple of months, but really people have been recognizing it more as a category, that 5.0. And for a long time, there has been this call for look, 4.0 plus, there's a lot of people who can handle that, but when you get into that professional elite, super elite category, there is a reality that you start to get a lot of individuals that can do 5 watts per kilogram or more for 20 minutes, and so that's really where this category has come from.
It's astounding. I mean, a new peak Zwift was reached the other day. When you're talking about 45-ish thousand people riding at any given time, yeah, you start getting to the point where it's not just a smattering of people that can make those kind of efforts. You start talking about hundreds of people that can ride at that level. And that's why we're seeing stronger and deeper fields. The benefits from having just that volume of folks is that, boy, have we found some quality racers from around the world. And we've been having at it, no doubt about it. It's this 91st edition of the WTRL. Absolutely trend setting. There's no one who does what WTRL does. Big thanks to Martin, who's working behind the scenes tirelessly. Well, actually, I'm going to guess he actually does get tired because it's been an incredible pull that Martin has taken. Just keeping everything in line. Like these guys here having a great ride today. This is Kohler of the Cryo RDT team. Boy,
Yeah, be watching
poetry
out
and
for them for
motion
the
out
win.
there.
I think this cryo team, they're kind of on a they're on a run lately, having this very very dominating run, and so I'd be watching out for them for setting the course record this week. They are definitely on my radar for being one of the best TTT teams out there in the world right now. Martin's toward the front there, as you can see. Double Martins, actually. Going to be maybe some brothers, I'd assume. R. Martins and M. Martins. 7.6 watts per kilogram. They pull through at almost 50K an hour, actually, on the front end. Maybe
Led
even more so.
That name is right up there with Merckx in Belgian cycling lore with Freddie Martins. Absolutely legacy. These guys, I have to give them credit. Cryo has been a team that has been on so many different fronts. They've been welcoming. There's a lot of folks who are looking for a team find Cryo, but now to see them have success at the very high end out here is super impressive. It's been, that's Costa there, the Brazilian flag. This international squad has really found their rhythm. Nathan, we've talked a lot about what makes a successful team time trial squad, and that even distribution of power and work ethic and commitment. Really hard to find, but they have got the tiger by the tail right now when you talk about cryogen. This is nice to see. This is well earned. This is not a team that a flash in the pan. This is a lot of hard work and dedication and just nose to the grindstone. And right now, what a beautiful sight. This is unbelievably the blue hue here, a couple yellow Tron bikes in the mix, everybody on the same page in full flight right now. And this is cryogen at its very, very best. Beautiful, beautiful job, guys.
My question, I think they did catch the plastic cockneys actually out on course. So plastic cockneys here, we were seeing on there 27:02. A little bit of time to make up. They could battle though with pedal power and VCRT doggos actually still. So a little bit of battle going on there. We do see Moan and Hodges. Ostenfeld is here. Colored, all riding for the insured pedal power team here out on course. As it's going to be James Hodges here, was maybe a guest rider in that kit here, KRT kit. This is the having a little chatter about Mr. Hodges and Glenn Knight actually this morning over on the Zwiftcast. Good to see him always still participating. Loves Zwifting and always very strong as a part of these top teams here. So good to see him jumping in with the insured pedal power boys.
Insured, a new, formerly known as Evoc or Evoke, depending on how you said it, but Insured, presented by Pedal Power, a new sponsor, but the same old team. There's a lot of talent on this squad, that's for sure, men's and women's side. I always like seeing that, Nathan, when you see equal efforts being made with both gender squads.
Yeah, very cool,
The
very
full
cool.
commitment.
It's
Yep.
great to see that, and and it's no small task either. Putting that together, finding all the right athletes at the levels that you're trying to do so, and a big shout out to those that just get something going regardless, though, and put the feelers out there to figure out who can jump on. And I've noticed what's really interesting about the Zwift world is a lot of times starting something up can be um, easier with the participation on the men's side. But what's cool with the Zwift world is we see some teams actually struggling to put a men's squad together because the women's side of things is so so awesome and grown so much that it's like you had the Sox for Watts team trying to put together a men's team and it happened, but it took a while to make it happen. So I think it's really cool how the parity is very reciprocal on that side. So pretty awesome of
That's
what we got
classic.
going on in the community here.
Yeah, the classic turning of the tables, right? Uh, yeah, you hear people a lot of times wondering, how do I get started? What do I do? And I think the answer, like a lot of things, is, as you said, is start where you are with what you have, and you'll see that this community, if you show in that Zwiftcast, I love some of your comments, Nathan, and one of them was, kind of along the lines of, if you want it enough, you'll figure it out. Passion rules the day in elite athletics, in so many, any of the artistic endeavors. Without passion, you don't have the starter fluid that you need. That's for sure. So, yeah, you'll find that plenty of people want to help you. I love seeing, speaking of insured, now, Wonder Women is a really, if you were going to start explaining how do the teams work, again, I don't quite understand. It's not nations based. It isn't. It's based on community. And Wonder Women is much like Socks for Watts, I would say, Nathan. It's a collection of riders who are on multiple teams, but all come together for this Thursday's team time trial. WTRL means a lot to a community of multiple thousands of people. So we're kind of taking a look now out here on Watopia Figure 8 Reverse, a 30-kilometer course today, just one lap. You can see, though, riders do spend a lot of time climbing out here. This is Gub of the 3C Thunder team that we've got. And I have a feeling we'll start getting some splits coming in. You can see it's 6, 14, and 20K. We're trying to check in with the teams and see where they're at in relation to the other squads out here in their category. Not ideal
Yeah,
right now. We'll try to get them all back together here. This
Exactly,
can
and
happen.
we are looking to try and get across all of the categories, just so everybody knows. We are starting in with the lattes; they were the first one to go out, and so that's why we're in with 3C Thunder, and this is in the women's race. They are struggling, it looks like, to keep things together in the climb, and this is going to be the most difficult part of this race, that's for sure, for the teams to stick together because this is a solid 4 to 5 minute effort, I would think, for this squad, maybe even a little bit more. So we'll see how that ends up playing out for them. They look to have just put a little bit too much off the front here, as it's going to be Selin, Bannister, Crawford, and Sumner all still together, though. They're going to roll on up, it looks like. Then we do have the Revo squad out on course with Sarah Watmore. Long time standing Zwifter here. 3 riders, though, as they've dropped off White. I believe they need a fourth, so they're going to have to chill out a little bit here as White's trying to come back to them.
Yeah, and Nathan, this is again going back to those data points of how you race an event like this. Unfortunately, the 3 being very strong, it's not enough. It's all about this 4th rider, and they've got the memo there. It looks like they're sitting up a little bit. They'll be able to continue working together. That's the challenge, though. Is it's not about just going out and doing your best effort. It has to be in relation to the other riders on the team. And that's the finesse element of riding a team time trial. But it looks like White is going to be able to get back up there. Momentary little spot of bother, as they say. But it looks like she's coming quite good now to rejoin the group. And, we're on a 1% grade, and she's moving along at 34K per hour. Not bad at all here. So we'll get the Revo rider back in the slipstream. And then, as I've said before, can't leave the station until all the bags are on the train.
Yeah, and maybe perhaps on the day here they may have showed up with 4. So I believe if you show up with 4, you can get across with 3. I believe that's in the rule. Double check it with Martin. Maybe he can give me a message over in Discord there for that. But I believe that's how it works. That if you show up with more than that, then you need a 4th across the line. But if on the day you show up with 4, I believe that you
I've
can.
heard that. That would be an interesting rule. Maybe Martin will be able to let us know.
Moving on backwards, though, we have an 11:32 coming through there, as we can see from the Mad Jalapenos, though. They were the 3rd ones out on course, and so I have a feeling that may be where things start for us as we're waiting for some data to come on through, as this is going to be peak Zwift time throughout the day, every single day. Sometimes things slow down a little bit for us over on the ZP. Another conversation that we actually had, all of the conversations on Zwiftcast from this morning, just for some reason seem to be coming up, it seems like.
Yeah, well, it is an interesting time, that's for sure, as we're in with the giant Camden team here and Buckton. But yeah, as they say, a lot of meat going through the grinder right now with, as you said, it's like a conga line out there. You don't see that here because we're in an event mode. But it's hard to complain about having too many people out riding their bikes on Zwift. That's for sure.
This is going to be the Jalapenos. I do see one of the riders here does have it in the name, the GC there. So this is going to be them, the Jalapenos.
There we go.
The riders that just set that 11:32 at the 6K mark. So good to see. They're the top team
My
currently
apologies.
for what we have for day. No, you're good. It's not in the. It wasn't obvious until I found the. It wasn't obvious until I found the GC there. So a lot of riders. Look at this. They're full squad. 8 riders are going to get a lot of momentum on the downhill here.
It's challenging. I'm going to guess only a few teams finish with 8 today, Nathan.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. It's going to be very difficult with the Watopia figure 8 course out here. You are going up that reverse. That one's going to be a little bit easier to find the draft, but really the sting is in the back end for that kick over the top. You want to hit the Watopia forward climb as hard as you possibly can, but at the same time, that's where things can really break apart on those steeper gradients, especially with a short, punchy climb like that. You're going to be really, tempted to just do your best 2-minute effort over the top, but some of the riders that might be a little bit weaker, struggling just a little bit to be hanging on, and you go ahead and punch it like that, next thing you know, you've completely blown things apart. And on the downhill, on the other side of this climb, you really need numbers to keep the speed up, because in the same way that reverse Watopia climb has a steady grind that you can find a draft on, it's the same that it's going to benefit you so much to have more riders to pull through, because it isn't going to be just super tucking on the way down and coasting. There's going to be a lot of time that can be gained if riders are able to pull through on that downhill reverse.
Yeah, that's quite a run there from the KOM reverse down for the next K or so. You are absolutely flying, and that's where. So you don't win the race there, Nathan. You lose it. I would say is a team that's disorganized and split and trying to weld back together. If you're doing it through that part of the course, you unfortunately this is exactly what I'm. You're just finishing that descent right here, and yeah, this is a squad that clearly got the memo. Z Sun, another top performer, toppers, no doubt about it. This is LeBlanc that we're in with. Looks like they rode that perfectly, Nathan, using that momentum as the best they can.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be Zisum Pluto with the best time so far. They were the fifth seed, a 10:19 at that 6K mark, but still early days here. 6K, 14K, 20K. There's a lot of racing yet to go, but almost a minute and a half actually gap over the top of the Mad Jalapenos. But I have a feeling as we go further and further back in the seeding, all the way down to the Evo Comets, we're going to start seeing times that are going to challenge what Z-Sun Pluto has thrown up on the thrown out, maybe I should say it, onto the board there.
All right, so we do get this data coming in. It's early here as the next check at 14K, but that's outstanding for Pluto, and that's who we've got on our screen right now with their rider LeBlanc. But boy, when you see only 6K in and you're more than a minute quicker and almost 2 minutes quicker after 6K, that has me scratching my head a little bit. That's a big gap.
It's a huge gap. It's going to be interesting to see if they can hold on to that kind of a time at
You're
this point
going
because,
almost 10 kilometers an hour faster to do that.
yeah. So we'll see how that
That's
ends up
quick.
playing out for them as that might be a little bit much for this team to be able to handle all the way through. But perhaps maybe the top end of this as we do see
Wow.
Vikings
Yeah.
coming on through. Glasgow as well here, 12:08. So yeah, Zisum Pluto. But the Vikings on there, they're only 30 seconds back, so 31 seconds. We'll see if
We
maybe
might be
there's a
we might
challenge.
see that adjust. Yeah, we'll watch that. Is this is again in with Glasgow Try Avon, and this is a team that's new to me, Nathan. That's always encouraging, isn't it? As we're starting to see squads coming together. Now, I'm not saying they're a new team, but new to me. That's certainly a different category. But it's nice to see them out here. That's for sure.
We're going to see if we can
12:08.
find. We're going to see if we can jump around a little bit. We're going to have a little bit of struggle. Just so everybody knows over in chat that we're going to have a little bit of struggle going between categories at this point. We will be taking a look at the men's results here in just a little bit, and we're going to be getting this a little bit of day. So there's a lot of little bit of struggle on the day with some of the things that we're working with, but we're going to get as best we possibly can. But it's good to begin with the lattes here. Probably a group of ladies in the platinum that earn their spot that don't always see the limelight for all the bulk of the day. So cool to have some new faces and being able to be shown here as we got Miller here, Glasgow Try Avon now out of the UK. And the Glasgow Try Avon here, it looks like seventh place currently is the 12:08. So they got some time to make up, especially Total Try ladies and the Jalapenos are going to be on their radar, I think.
Yeah, the battles, it doesn't matter what division we're talking about or category. It's the racing within that group that is always so fun to watch as we again in with Glasgow now. And I mean, they've got the total try ladies that they're going to be trying to better. And then right in front of them was the Jalapenos, who we were with a little bit earlier. Pop cycles in with a 10:53. They're only 3 seconds behind the Vikings there. So that's the name of the game right now. Evo Comets with a 10:31. So that's the bike race right there. Z Sun Pluto, Evo Comets. It's a space battle. Star Wars going on out here, Nathan.
Loving the Star Wars. See if I think we can maybe jump
Well,
in. Some of
comets
the
are attacking Pluto, I guess is a good way to
the
put it. That's
comments are attacking food. That's absolutely awesome. Loving it. Loving it. We're gonna see if we can jump around a little bit. I do see the comments coming on in. Looking to try and find our Socks for Watts ladies out there. They may be able to give us a look here in just a moment. But jumping around's been a little bit difficult again, everybody. But we do see that those comments coming on through.
Yeah, I really appreciate you going above and beyond today, Nathan. There were some technical challenges that and Nathan just got to work and was not going to let today go by without getting the riders covered out here. And I really appreciate you doing that, Nathan. It means a lot. But this is not our standard broadcast, and we'll be back next week, I'm sure, with what you're used to. But we couldn't let a day go by with the WTRL and not cover it. So thanks, Nathan.
Of course, that's exactly what we're here for. So, uh, jumping around a little bit here, we're gonna jump back over to the Vikings here. It looks like, and 10:50. This is the battle that is starting to play out, though. We've got the Pop Cycles. I like the name there. 8 point. They were the ace seed. Not quite the fastest from like the Evo Comets. And so the battle here of about 20 seconds between all of them. Pluto is on the radar, I think, to get beat. Perhaps if they went out a little bit too fast, because that kind of time can be made up, especially with the later half of this race having that Watopia forward
Agreed.
climb. I think still a lot of racing left to go here in the Vienna Latte. So we'll see how this plays out. But I think that this top end, the top 4 to 5 teams, there's still 4 teams really are still in contention.
Pacing and setting schedules is a huge part of being successful in team time trialing. And that becomes the issue, Nathan, is the schedule that works for 3 riders. If it doesn't work for the 4th, you've got a big problem.
Yeah, and as you look at the back here, we do see them doing a really good job though of keeping it all together. They're really doing, on the front end. If we want to talk about the tactic of how to ride a team time trial, the rider on the front here is pretty perfectly positioned. Watch this next rider come on through. 2.5. Now, Galstrom, it looks like maybe about to take a turn, maybe a little bit too much of a push that might slow them down just a tad. Now, as they hit the front here, it is going to be Berg at 3.9 watts per kilogram. The rest going to kind of move backwards and try and just grab onto
Fill
that
that
wheel.
gap.
One thing I definitely want to say, when you're DSing, for those of you that are out there looking to DS a team, telling a rider exactly the position, not just, hey, it's going to be your turn next. If your rider is not in position in order to take over their turn on that second wheel, they are out of position. They're not in the right place. And that 2 seconds that it could take could be the difference between 2 kilometers per hour or for about, I would say, a solid 30 seconds even. Because
Yeah.
if you don't take over at exactly the right time, your whole squad is
Listen,
slowing way down.
Think of it as a swimming relay race, Nathan. When one swimmer finishes, you know how the other one is in the air, ready to get in the pool and get going? It's almost like you have one swimmer finish, and then there's a couple seconds, and then the next swimmer jumps into the pool, right? You need to be in motion, taking over as they come off of the front. And that's why I was talking about that wave that we were seeing that some riders are using. I think that's a way to say, okay, it's you. Here we go, right? And
Yeah, exactly,
these
exactly. Like, and really, one thing I've found a lot in the in my experience with the team time trial so far is riders being really used to traditional Zwift racing, where it's just kind of blobbing somewhere in the pack, and not knowing that, like, no, your position in this and being in the right spot at exactly the right time is so incredibly key to making this happen. So,
couldn't agree more. Think of it like the Blue Angels, right? It's not like, hey, just kind of be over on the left and when you feel like it. It's like, no, this is precise. We need you to be really accurate with when you take over here. It's not sort of when you mosey on up to the front, go ahead and take a pull. It's much more calculated. Your points are dead on, Nathan.
looking to see if we can. We'll keep on moving our way back here, but this is going to be the Popsicles here, 10:53 currently. It's going to be Evo then with Rasmussen here, Mallet and Johnson then all looking to make something happen. Evo going to be battling though with Z-Sun. Interesting to see Z-Sun. They were the 5th seed. Really going to make a jump this week if they can hold on. We'll have to wait and see what happens at the 14K mark.
Yeah, we're starting to get a feel as we move into race 91 here. There's some new talent out there coming on strong. And I'm really excited to see what comes out of this 14-kilometer split to see if Z-Sun is going to be able to hold on. If they are, that's a really good indicator. And if not, well, they went out too hard and lessons will be learned out here. So time trialing, it can be really subtle sometimes when you see what the differences are. As we're seeing Rasmussen taking over on the front now for the Danish rider on this Evo team. Nice international mix for this squad. Here's Socks for Watts, Leah Thorvaldsen and company.
They'll be in a just plain orange kit, but they do have an in-game kit for the Sox for Watts. Now you do see the Turbo kit will be there. Some of the teams that are out there, you may be, hey, what's going on? What's up with the kit there? And that is going to be the patch that we were with the workaround here. So nothing to do with your kit didn't get removed from game or anything like that. It is live. Anybody who's racing or riding currently right now will see their kit in game. We're just in order to get live here, we needed to do a little bit of a workaround here. Is Louise Huback now currently? Let's go ahead and see if we can start getting some times here. Now, Louise Huback, I saw her in the platinum, not the platinum, in the premier division this past week, and it was absolutely crazy level of riding that we saw coming in from her. She won the live cams and had a coach next to her telling her exactly what to do, when to do it, how to do it. It looked like it was a pretty interesting scene, some intensity in that pain cave, that's for sure.
Yeah, she's a monster. You look at this team, Cassie Baldy here. Should send out a happy birthday to Alice Lethbridge. Alice, a very popular figure in the world of Zwift, and for a great reason. She's a wonderful person and a cornerstone for this team. So happy birthday, Alice.
Awesome to see.
This is quite a
I'm
team.
sure the rest of the world of Zwift here are going to be saying exactly the same. Always great to celebrate alongside of all of the community members. So B Squad here, interesting to see maybe making their way backwards, and CMA B Squad perhaps starting in the same pen here, but I don't believe a part of the race at the top end of this here. Now we do have
I don't think they're espresso.
No.
Wonder Women.
Interesting to see.
Wonder Women, I'd say, and the choppers out here as well. Good to see. We're getting back to it. These epic battles in this category here. Some of the best racing you see all year happens with this group. This is the team that has been, I mean, it's fair to say, and nothing lasts forever, remembering that. But this team has been absolutely dominant for the better part, well, through the entire COVID era, really. When we first picked up in March, I first picked up in March, and that's around, let's say, week 50 or so. The choppers were the queen of the hill, but pretty quickly, it wasn't long until the Socks for Watts team they still joke about being called a scrappy unit of renegade racers who came together. But there was some truth to that at the time, but they really found this cohesive a vibe on that team that worked for a lot of women, and it's continued to work. And they have remained, no one's unbeatable, but they've by far been the closest that we've seen in the WTRL. As a matter of fact, their win ratio exceeds any team, any individual I've seen in cycling, to tell you the truth, by quite a bit.
Getting some times in here. I have a feeling that Sox Watts, perhaps there was a tagging issue, perhaps, but it was 1945. Currently from Sisu, I raced like a girl. Wonder Women of insured there with the 1953. Canyon Esports tied exactly at 1953. That's going to be a battle there. Choppers there 2011. This is all pretty close. I wouldn't say anybody's completely walked away with this one yet.
I feel like I owe Sisu an apology. That team deserves a ton of credit, just like Wonder Women, right, Nathan? They have been right there on that threshold, and you could see them making a run at this one. I don't know that any team is ever going to do what Socks for Watts did as far as, winning 20 of 22 starts. That might not happen again with the talent that you see distributed amongst these teams, because you know that Wonder Women are going to find the top of the podium. Sisu as well. It's only a matter of time until the choppers get it all put back together. Canyon Esports, another extremely strong team that when things are going their way, and they look like they are going their way, they're having a great ride out here today. As let's see what we've got now. There's Wonder Women in with that 1953 was not the fastest at that 14K checkpoint, but they might be inching up towards that 28:23 at 20K. Let's see what Sisu has. We'll see what the choppers have, and we're working on socks for watts, figuring out what's going on there.
Yeah, we're gonna see if we can jump in with the Wonder Women actually here. If their tags are good in game, we'll be able to do so. Um, as the way that we are jumping around today is the old school way through companions. So we'll see if we can find what's happening out on course with them. Lots of lots of battles that are going on. One of the things that's back in the background of my head actually, when I see these riders out on course in the WTRL TTT and these situations, is how many of them are battling for those Zwift Power rankings. Currently right
Yeah,
now I'm seeing Insured Pedal Power with the Wonder Woman V win. Out
she's been
here on
number
course
one.
hammering. She's been number one quite a couple times here,
Yep.
battling for that top spot. And a lot of these ladies here paying attention now to those rankings and showing up throughout the weeks here to try and hit them, especially in short. I think in 2024 they've kind of been going head to head. It's this like battle that's happening continually. It seems like trying to take that top spot. And V Win, I think, one of the ones who is really gunning for it a lot of times.
Yeah, it's funny. It shows you the diversity that we have with the women, or all of the individuals that we have out racing. It's been Kristen Kolchinsky, the jeweler from New York, from Long Island, going up against V Win, who is a computer programmer working with Monley Keller and company. I actually need to apologize to Monley. I realized I was listening back to our broadcast. I called her Meredith Keller, which is my combination of Meredith Kessler and Monley Keller, right? I don't know if you have trouble with that one, Nathan, but I have for just one of those little earbugs or whatever they call it. But Mona Lee Keller is another. She's been out there doing these monster rides, Nathan. I know you always pay attention to that, the standout Zwifters out there. Her capacity is amazing. She's also a mom and has a high level job at Microsoft and looks like a great friend as well. So yeah, they really got it going on out there. Going back now, picking up Louise Huback is what a talent she is. I know that we're going to be hearing a lot from Louise here, a huge motor. And this is why, Nathan, Socks for Watts has been so hard to beat, is Louise can look around her team and see women that are on her level. And that's really hard when you're that talented, to find people that can work with you, right? I mean, I think that's one of the interesting things for elite Zwifters is there's not many other folks that can do this.
Jumping in here real quickly with Carly Johan, Meredith Kessler here, just a little ways
The
ahead.
aforementioned Meredith Kessler, yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to help us out a little bit to get into the race here. I believe Insured is right ahead of them. Is that right? Interesting to see. That's going to be one of the Insured riders that got dropped off. This looks like things are in a little bit of a mayhem right now. Chopper's just ahead, but Sisu, I raced like a girl. What is
this
happening?
This course has created mayhem out here today. So I think you're correct, Nathan. That looked like one of the Wonder Women of Insured that had come out of the group. This is Catherine Curie, one of the best climbers in the world, who's been on quite a run
back to try and pick up some of the riders is what's happening here, but it's not happening, carrying on.
This
but
is sub-ideal.
Interesting to see. Oh, they have four. They do have four.
Okay. And one of them, and where's Catherine then in this?
She was
so
at the
that's
back.
Ramsey.
So she was at the back. It looked like she went backwards to try and grab maybe Ellen Tarquino and Rose. It wasn't happening. And then just came back across with Monster Watts, and now she's got four.
Catherine Curie's been absolutely amazing. No surprise. She started off the COVID period. I think she broke her arm in May. And once she got all the pieces put back together, she's been incredible. You can see that Sisu I Race Like a Girl is only 6 seconds behind the Wonder Women of Insured. Now, I'm not exactly sure, and it probably is a tagging issue, to be honest, with the Socks for Watts, where they are at. So just kind of keeping that in the back of our mind. It's TFC Vixen sitting in third right now, but it's a 2-team race for what we have on the board. board anyways, and I think we probably should focus on that, is
Ah,
20.
I got the info for you there,
You got
Dave.
them.
Sox Watts are racing in zone 7. I was wondering why
Aha.
and because I'm
Aha.
using the old school fan view to get around, I was in zone 7. That's why.
Great.
So they are racing in
Okay.
zone 7, but we may be able to get an
Thank
update
you.
if they finish quick enough. So
Well,
now we've actually jumped back in with the official Platinum League, and that's why I wasn't getting the names on the right there too in some of this stuff. So interesting
it
enough to
all
see,
makes
just so
sense
everybody knows.
now.
But for those of you that don't know, it isn't just the Platinum League that's going on throughout the entirety of the day. 11 zones of different time trials. Well, all the same time trial throughout the day. Team time trial happening, all competing against each other. But the Platinum League is what gets broadcast as you qualify for that by being in the top teams from the
All
week
right.
before. From
So
the week before.
correct, right, and it has been a little haphazard as far as teams taking breaks, and we had a very unique course as they raced Alp to Zwift a couple of weeks ago, and some teams decided to sit that one out. So as we now kind of get our rhythm back, well, there's a great rider to do that with, the four riders of the apocalypse. That's Carly Johan, who in the mix, Meredith Kessler, the world-class triathlete. Always nice to have that experience on a Team Time Trial squad. And then Catherine Curie, the standout rider. But Wonder Women, that last split. So as they're at 22.5K, they've got a bit of a downhill run now. They're through the significant sectors of the course. And now it's really just get after it here. Try to keep the speed high. Beast mode. Nice to see here. Carolus, is this team, do they have all 8? So it looks like 7 of the 8 still together.
I'm actually really excited to see Beast Mode participating in the WTRL TTT
So
on
cool.
Thursdays because this is a team that's just come out on the scene here. They're put together by the coach who helped win the world championship actually on the men's side of things. They've got both the men's and the women's squad going down, and they're in the ZRL as well. Be on the watch out for Beast Mode. I think they've got uh, really high aspirations as they, when you got a new team, there's cohesiveness, there's learning, there's figuring out who's who, how things. It doesn't just. A lot of times, if it just clicks right out the gate, you've got to really hit the lottery in some ways there.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there's some work that needs to be done, and only in the first week they have made a splash. That is for sure. So great to see them showing up on the TTT here, and I think that this is practice. I would assume as well. They're thinking, yes, this is really important, but also on their sites is next week's RGV TTT as well, as the ZRL is a big focus for Beast Mode, I know, on the men's and the women's side of things. We look at Carolus here pulling on through for the German squad, 185 beats per minute as they're finishing up their last 10K or so.
It is really nice to see when you do see teams that have organized and making this jump. It's the deep end of the pool, but once you realize that you can keep your head above water, it becomes really fun, no doubt about it. And that's something that we love watching that process for sure. So this team digging deep now, they're doing a really good job here. If you had told me that this team had been racing for years, I absolutely look at this, Nathan. Fantastic work here, gentlemen. So now the name of the game is to keep this great formation and the technique and just slowly start picking up the speed like anybody, right? You got to keep working. All right. So here we go. This is going to be Wonder Women. That's V Win that we're looking at, the
That's why I
potato.
couldn't find her in game. I was searching her name over and over on
I
the companion app, and then I click on her here, and of course she's Two Potato, and absolutely loving it. And that's such a great. We had a lot of conversation about the potatoes actually on Zwiftcast this morning. It just keeps on coming up. I mean, all of the inside jokes, and that's the great thing is that all of the riders know all of this stuff as well, that like it comes out in the culture of the racing even in itself as we sit here and talk about it. It's such a cool aspect of the community.
Yeah, you're right, Nathan. When you talk about the human beings behind the avatars, V Win might be one of the most interesting, cool people that I've ever heard of. I saw Yvonne Timewell there as well. This is a team of just quality individuals, that's for sure. And they're in the mix. Here we go. So it's good homework there, or good research there, Nathan, is we now know that the Sox for Watts team racing in a different time zone. Again, there's 11 time zones around the world on top of Platinum League. And when you look at, so zone 7 underway, I was noticing that there's quite a few zones that get going around this time of the day. And but getting into the Platinum League is the name of the game. Wonder Women are really going to dig deep here because Sisu, I Race Like a Girl, that's such an evenly matched battle that we've got here. I wouldn't want to be picking a favorite on this one today, Nathan. They're definitely going to earn it out there, as they say. But there is no hot tip. It's going to come down to who's got the jet fresh flow.
Yeah, and it's only 6 seconds at this point, so it's going to be a really difficult time that they're going to be having right now to take everything to the line. Really a stand and go at this point. This is the final final 1,000 meters actually. Last K is Victorova now, 6.3 watts per kilogram. V-Win's going to be leading out the team. Monali on the wheel. Can anybody else come through at 6 watts per kilogram? We're going to get a sprint in just a moment here. No, Wynn's going to bump it to 8 and lead things out for her team. 48 kilometers per hour from a women's team here. Absolutely great to see as they come to the line. First 4, and it's going to be Potato, Monali, King, Victorova. That is going to be who gets across the line first. And, of course, I didn't click backwards because I got there. But we'll get Carly is going to help us out here. Thanks, Carly.
Yana Victorova there finishing. That was outstanding. We'll see if it was enough. It could be 1 second here.
Well, we saw the struggle over the top, right? We saw the struggle over the top of the forward Watopia climb. That most likely is where they lost that time to Cease Race Like a Girl. Did lose some time, I think, when Catherine Curry had to come back. That was some pretty big nitrous oxide, I think, too, so.
Oh, absolutely, Nathan. That was post 20K as well, wasn't it? Around 22K, where we saw all of that going on. I believe it was, which means that this split then wouldn't reflect that, the 20K split I'm referring to. We're going to get a finish time.
Point. That is a really good point, actually, because perhaps it is going to be even a larger split. They're going to have to bury themselves at this point if they're going to bring that back. Then Ramsey here now in the front, 44 kilometers per hour, backing off a little bit. Looks like perhaps Kessler now going to be the next to come on through at the 45 kilometers per hour. They are pushing a solid 5 on the front though, so no joke. But we saw V-Win. So we saw the Potato, though, not being any kind of potato, just potato in the legs, perhaps. It's nothing but carbohydrates being burned rather than what we use that for our CPU. But hammering with Win at 6. So can Kessler battle against that as the current front runner for the team?
The Win is the personification. If you took a cocktail napkin and somehow could figure out how to strap an outboard motor onto that napkin, that's basically V. I mean, she's incredibly light, and she puts up numbers that you'd think that was a 180-pound men's sprinter when you look at the watts that she's making. I mean, it's something special. No doubt about it. And that's what, that work ethic that you see and that battle that she and Kristen Kolchinski have had for the number 1, that's been fun to watch. No doubt about it. Keeping things interesting through the winter time here. This is going to be
if you want to have a little bit of nerding out a little bit, getting out the Anna Russa whiteboard, as they call it in the broadcasts once in a while. Check out the Zwift Power rankings and take a look at how they're battling for it. I know that they are always checking up on who's racing what, trying to show up for who's racing what. In order to kind of almost creating their own matchmaking in their heads about, I saw Holden Camus was also, top ranked American for the longest time. Number 1 Zwifter at the top a lot of the times. Oh yeah, and he actually started streaming over on Twitch, and I jumped in with him, was chatting with him for a little bit. He said that I make the races every week as much as I can that I know the talent is showing up to. He says they it's like clockwork for him almost at this point. I know that these racers most likely will be in these races, and he's actually talking about how it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, but he doesn't have to worry about it as much because Premier Division makes them all show up to the same place, so they can at least get a
Right.
good amount of points if it goes well. This past week didn't go so well. He's a little frustrated about that. He didn't time things well. Maybe going to lose a couple points on the rankings actually. So these ladies
It's
and these
interesting.
men, they are watching that rankings. That's for sure.
Oh, no doubt. And just like in football, where they talk about strength of schedule, well, it's not just winning races; it's who you're beating when you're winning races that makes it the biggest difference. And that's why you want to race against the best, because then your efforts really do matter in that ranking process. That's a pretty good way to put it, isn't it, Nathan?
Yeah, it is exactly. It's all about the ELO rating. Who are you up
It's not
against?
how many times you win; it's who you beat when you win, and you have to do
Exactly.
it often enough.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So who shows up, strength of field is how many points you are going to be getting if depending on how you do against those individuals. So stronger field,
And
more
yeah,
points that you're going to get.
it doesn't do you any good to beat Dave Toll 100 times. That's not going to move you up. But if
That's
you can
you
beat
get negative
Kolchinsky
No,
once,
I'm not going to
yeah,
be. I'm not going to be mean. There's no negative points. You don't get negative points. You get
but you know what I'm saying,
no.
right? I mean, it's like
They just send you to
you got
the
to beat the
top of
right
the
people.
Donkey Kong ladders. You get to jump some
Yes,
barrels.
yes.
You get to jump some barrels for beating Dave Toll. So
You don't get to walk off with the princess, though. That's for sure. All right, finishing up here. It's nice to see 5, 6 riders together. This is the team we were waiting for. Now, I race like a girl, and it
Lejeune,
looks like
this is a rider that's on my radar.
Teal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She in the Premier Division, I saw you guys commentating on that, and this is a rider who suddenly has jumped out of the Dev ranks right on into the deep end of the water of Zwift racing in the women's side of things.
Well, that's one of the great things about esports and Zwift is that if you have the talent, it will very quickly come to the surface, and you know you've arrived when you get a phone call from Nikki Cranmer, right? You've impressed the right people. I guess that would be on the women's side with the 2024 team, but the directors are out there watching. They are well aware. And always the teams are looking for reinforcements. They're taking this really seriously. There's Kirsten Pohl of the Canyon team, talented German rider here.
Stephanie
Lot
Sidlick,
of
recent pickup as well. This is kind of a newer team, actually. Not obviously Canyon Esports is not a newer
new
team, but
composition, right?
what they've put together. The pickup of Bexy Dude. This is actually all three of these riders on the front are new pickups here. Lejeune, Pole, Bexy Du, Machner's there, Lecomte. So I mean, this is they're really gelling though, and these are good pickups because Canyon Esports on the women's side of things, this is not the kind of ride that we've seen from them. This is going to be a completely new situation
Yeah.
in the Platinum League. A top three is pretty amazing. Now, Sox Schwartz obviously not being here, but still, this is extremely competitive. And did they bring any time back? We'll have to wait for the results, but I'm really impressed with these new pickups. This is again a good result for them and a good training ride for next week out on RGV for the TTT because that's exactly what that squad right there, that's what they're going to be racing actually this next week.
Couldn't agree more. Underlining and highlighting what you said, Nathan, Canyon Esports might be the most exciting thing that we're picking up so far in the 2021 season. That is a welcome addition. Nothing but heavy hitters on that team, and they're absolutely going to play a role when it comes down to figuring out who's on top of the podium over the next few months and into the future, I should say. Good to have you on board, Canyon Esports. So
Interesting
respectable for sure,
enough.
but it's going to be sorry there,
You're okay.
28-23. 28-23, Nathan. Very, very quick out there at these checks. We're going to start waiting to see if that was enough for Wonder Women. I tend to think it was. There you go. It was.
Yeah, Wonder Woman at the top there, and I think that it was we'll have to wait and see. I'm not seeing
That's
Sisu on
today.
the results
Or,
just yet, so we'll
yeah.
have to wait and see. Beast mode, solid ride. So I'm gonna wait on this one. I actually cannot. Something's happening on Zwift Power, everybody. So I apologize. Like everything kind of is broken today. Like just to be totally honest, like every fallback, I have a lot of fallbacks, like a ton of like
We're
if this
on
goes
one of
wrong,
them
if
right
this
now.
goes wrong, yeah, this is one of them. This
We're on
is exactly.
fallback mode right now. Yeah.
But I have like probably like 5 different ways that I have figured out over the last 5 years to try and make sure that we get Zwift scenes. Not a single one is working right this second, to be honest. So we're just gonna see if we can wait for an update here. I think Zwift Power is really struggling right now. I don't see any of the riders in the event actually at this moment. Let me see if I can get some updates on this. Well, I'm looking at the results here. So perhaps maybe Amy Barlow, if you're watching, you're gonna thank you so much because I actually suddenly just got your that you're actually in one of these events, as well as maybe Bianca Fernandez is going to help us out here. But so that is what's happening, everybody, is that we are trying to get in with the rest of the riders here, but we're doing it the old school way.
You can always go to WTRL.racing to find results and information on the league if you'd like to get involved. They do a great job with the website.
Yeah, and then perhaps what we can do then is we can jump on over to the results for the men, and maybe we'll be able to jump in with some of the women in the rest of the Viennas in just a second here. I'm just going to double check and make sure that we have results for the men, but as it's been obviously a little bit of a day here, and it does look like we do have the Dopios. So let's go ahead and take a look at that, and then we'll jump on over back to maybe some of the finishes for the women, Dave. But here, Dave, for the Dopios, here's how things played out.
All right. Well, congratulations to Cryo RDT, the Vultures, with a 37.51. Good for the win and the gold today. Vision gave a run for their money, 38 seconds back for silver. This is our Dopios that we're talking about. Kirkmeyer E-Racing Team ends up with the bronze today. Restart in fourth. World Elite Zwifters presented by Zeal CC in fifth. Ram Racing for sixth today. Z-Sun-R, the Red Giants in seventh. Pedal Power for eighth. VCRT, the Doggos in ninth. And Plastic Cockneys rounding out our top 10 for the Dopio today here for week 91 of the WTRL. Brought to you by No Pins.
And it's going to be Espressos here. We've got LGP. That is a new name at the top of the Espressos. Good to see. 38.48. Evo Extra Turbo Sales 39.08. La Tormenta 39.15 with Team TFC Typhoon 39.18. Kirchner Espresso 1 39.20. And then Los Torpedoes coming on through with a 39.28 in sixth place. Seventh place Steamers Express. Evo Espresso there in eighth. Snooze, a new team in the Platinum League, good to see. And then WKG Torture with the Espressos there. That is going to be your top 10 in the men's Espresso. And then on over to Frappe.
And this will be the Slosel. Big, strong guys, 40-12, living up to their name in Frappe for the gold. It's Cryogen the Turn, silver medal squad today. And then Z-Sun-R Saturn rounds out your top three for the Frappes with the bronze. Los Cazadores in fourth. Team CLS 352 version in fifth. Cryogen Swifts in sixth. Vikings Jormungandr in seventh. The Gulf Frappe in eighth. Cryogen the Kestrels in ninth. And then Dirt Time Chasers BC round out your top 10 for the Frappe.
In the lattes, Vikings Valhalla take it down 42.33. Kirchner E-Cycling 1 42.50. Vikings Milan are there 43.27. Team TFC Hornet in fourth. ZRG TTT3 in fifth. Cryogen Emu sixth. BRT Tequila Chasers in seventh. Valhalla Gallahorn in eighth. Ninth goes to RR Nuclear Rhiners. And 10th is going to be Vikings Yggdrasil. I think I got that one right.
I'm going to give you credit on that. I got an easy one here for the Mochas, the Legends. RR Black Rhinos getting it done, taking the gold today in the Mochas. Team TFC Hurricane taking the silver, and Golf for bronze. Team CLS, the Limited Diesels in fourth. Vikings Berserker in fifth. Adam Racing Team Fusion, good for sixth. Los Ketchup, seventh. TBR 008, good to see you out there, guys, in eighth. TFC Hawk, ninth. And Herd of Toads, rounding out your top 10 for the Mochas.
And some of the women still out on course here, actually. So let's go ahead and jump in real quickly here. We do have some of the lattes just finishing up. Good to see Brooks as well as the rest of this CTTT. Interesting here. The Evo team there as well. currently coming in. G Salad here, as well as Mallet, giving a little bit of a kick. So always good. Definitely one of the focuses that we have had. We've seen a lot of feedback actually in the comments over on the YouTube. A lot of people really appreciating that we're covering these other categories as best we possibly can in the ZRL, and we're going to really try and make a
Good.
focus on that as well in the WTRL TTT.
Nathan, I've been getting an outstanding amount of feedback from people through the various social media platforms, but that information is invaluable, isn't it? Staying in touch and learning about your teams. And yeah, it makes a big difference. So don't be shy. Reaching out with that info is always fun and connects us.
Yeah, it really does. We really do appreciate that everybody brings the info on through. It's extremely helpful. It keeps us in the loop and lets us know exactly what is going
Yeah.
on. So this is the Total Tri Ladies coming on through. Gaynor Beck, it's going to be Nat as well as Claret Firth, Mel Brooks, and then Charlie Angel and Holly Leonard all coming to the line. Solid effort here coming in from
Nice strong
them.
finish. Yeah,
Very
look at
strong
this. Just
finish.
galloping here. Nice work, ladies.
And that is going to be, they were in sixth place last time we saw. Let's see if they can hold on at all here.
Was
We
that
still,
Total Tri ladies
I
there
believe that
that
was Total
finished?
Tri Ladies, yeah, coming on
Good
through.
job.
We
I'll
still
remember
have a
them.
couple others out on course here. We're going to be seeing if we can jump in with the Z-Sun Bums. What a great name, actually, here. While we look for the Z-Sun Bums, and Chantal Burke is going to help us out with that. She's out on course. Looks like maybe got dropped by her team here. We'll see if maybe we can move forward here. Tracy Phillips might be able to help us out with that. But I wanted to, we had a competition out here. And Dave, you want to speak to what we got going on here? What's this all about?
Just throwback was my vibe here in our poster competition. I believe that the guys ended up in second out there racing, but starring Jimbo Vin, I just felt like it took me back to the romance of racing in the 50s and 60s. So, and it's a little bit scary. So that was
It's
my
a little bit
pick.
scary. The guy needs to put
Yeah,
a shirt on. I don't know. Like, what does he think as far as
eh,
the fashion police go here? I don't know. Like, I guess at
well,
least
my
having the
concern.
platinum belt and the
I was
WTRL
going to
tag on the
say,
head there, I guess he gets
you
a couple of points there. But I'm not. That's not my job. I'll leave that one to Kate. Maybe she can help us out next week on this guy's fashion.
I think I made the statement, Nathan, that we're leaving all of that to Kate and Anna as far as the fashion stuff. They have a better feel for it.
So this is Dave's pick. This is Dave's pick here. I'm definitely going to leave it to Kate and Anna there. No, so this is going to be the pick here coming in from Martin saying, loving the
The 8
Eminem, the
Mile.
story of the team, the return, the 8 Mile on the Watopia figure eight. And then this one grabbed
You
my
only
attention.
get
Maybe
one
I just
shot.
like kids movies too much, probably. I watched too many cartoons perhaps, but this one grabbed me right away. The Phantom Toll Booth. With Team TFC and is the winner on the week. Now, if you want to get involved with the poster competition, head on over to the WTRL Facebook group. Join the group for the TTT weekly TTT, and you will. And if you jump in there, you'll see the posters posted. And make sure to throw those on there. We'll take a look at them, and if you get a win, you get a shout out. And poster shown, poster shown either. Not always not always spoken about as in what you won. Might not be praised all the time. Z-Sun always showing up with like everybody's face on there, really promoting every single person on the team.
They're relentless.
They are relentless. They are.
I love it. I love this community. Good job out there. Hey, finishing up a team here now, Nathan, as they come across the line. I know you can relate to this. The feeling of crossing the line, having done your job, is it's next level as far as satisfaction goes. This is a violent effort
That was
that
the
your body
Panthers,
goes
the
through.
PCC Panthers. They were sitting in seventh place there. It looks like. Just ahead of Bada Boom.
Good
I don't
ride.
think they're going to be able to catch the 3C
The
tornadoes, but
tornadoes.
solid ride there though coming in from PCC. I'm loving the name PCC Panthers.
Yeah, and that's what it's all about, right? Is that you come out of this week with some momentum, and hopefully you've gotten a little bit better at the craft. Everybody's has a little stronger understanding of what this is going to take, and we can eke out a couple extra watts next week. Catch
Interesting.
those rotten tornadoes, right?
Portishead Cycling is
Just
what I've
kidding.
got for this. PCC Portis. They're somehow associated with Portishead Cycling from what I'm seeing. Interesting to see. You can learn so much
Wasn't
over on
Portishead a
zwiftpower.com.
band?
I think it
I'm
was.
gonna have to
It was.
I'm
It
gonna have
was
to
a
look
band.
that up.
Portishead
Yeah.
was a band. There was like I've got like some
Cool
lyrics and
band.
music going through my head
Right.
right now. Actually, it reminds me of like a mixture of um some sort
An
of
English
punk
band
rock.
formed in 1991 in Bristol, often considered one of the pioneers of trip hop
Dave.
music.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah.
I listened to Portis. I had one of their um had one of their records
I'm
actually
gonna
for
get
a
if you
while.
say it would be CD. It wouldn't be
Yeah.
8-track tape. We're not going
No,
that far back. Yeah.
not that far back, but I think I might have had a tape. I might have had a cassette tape. It may have been a cassette tape. I'm pretty sure. So let's go ahead and see if we can get some results coming in here. Quickly, I think Martin. Interesting. He's letting us know that Martin is full of information, like full of all kind. He knows
Oh,
all
he
kinds
knows.
of very
Oh yeah.
interesting information. That's for sure.
He's going
Like
to tell us about
random.
when he saw Portishead in London.
That's kind of what is happening. Actually, I'm not kidding, which is hilarious. He's laughing. Martin Carew, the man that forever will have the what was the mantra I gave you the other day, Martin? Like
Man
never.
behind the curtain.
Which one? Were you in a good mood or a bad mood?
Martin, go ahead and tell us about the new tags. I know that you wanted to say something about the new tags and the new way of getting people into. It solves a lot of the issues when it comes to getting into the events, tagging things correctly, etc. Here. So, Martin, go ahead and help us out on that front. I know you wanted to give some information.
Yeah, so sure. It's obviously the TTT is 91 weeks. Well, we're not far off 2 years old now. But every week there's a number of people that either misspell their tags, forget to put their tags on, or something happens anyway, and our software cannot read their tags. All those people, I manually every Thursday go through, find them, and re-tag them or re-identify them to their team. Obviously, with the sheer scale of what we're at now, 800 plus, I think it's 900 teams actually this week. That's been consuming 8 hours or so of a Thursday with the Zwift Racing League as well. That quite happily consumes 8 hours or longer. So we've been thinking about lots of ideas, how to get around this, how to sort it out, how to make life easier for the teams as well, because I know a lot of the managers have to chase around, make sure tags are right. Are they working? We've got various tools. But the new system is called Race Pass. So basically, every team is issued with a link. It is day specific. It works for that event only, and then it's dead. And any rider clicking on it will come through our website, is identified, and then placed in that team. No tags required or anything like that. You just need a WTRL profile so we know who you are when you come through, and that connects you up to the data. And it's called Race Pass. One of the beautiful things about it is, particularly around the Zwift Racing League, we will be able to stop A riders getting into B riders getting into C riders getting into D, and things like that. So it gives us a little bit more control over the events, prevents that disappointment of seeing a disqualification or an upgrade or anything like that. And we've been testing it with the platinum leagues for a couple of weeks, where it's worked really, really well. And Zwift Racing League first race on Tuesday will be season 2. 9,000 people in those events, and pleased to say there were 133 people that didn't quite have the right Zwift ID in their WTRL profile, so they've been furiously trying to sort themselves out to keep their team points. But no, it's a brand new system. It gives us much better control over the events, who's in them, where they go, and what pens they can get into. But ultimately, it does away with the tags. It makes my life a lot easier as well. It's all good.
Thanks, Martin, for the update on that. And for more information, I think you can just head on over to obviously WTRL Racing, right? And see where things are all at. And there's plenty of information over on the Facebook page as well. All right, so that's going to be it. Besides the results, we're going to jump in with the results for the ladies, and then we'll be here again. Apologies today, guys. We just with the latest patch, we had a little bit of a struggle getting through the day out here today. So I appreciate everybody sticking with us through the broadcast. Once in a while, a couple of hiccups here. So let's go ahead and see how things ended up playing out in the women's side of things. And Vienna Espresso is going to be first up here, Dave.
Thanks, Nathan. Sisu, I raced like a girl did it. Holy cow. A 41-42, where there is a will, there is a way. If they're going to finish 10 seconds faster than Wonder Women of Insured. Congratulations, Sisu. That was well earned out there. Wonder Women of Insured silver, bronze medal for Canyon Esports. Keep an eye on that team. TFC Vixen into fourth. The Choppers in fifth today. Project Beast Mode for sixth. Z-Sunar Hypernova in seventh. This is the Vienna Espresso, and it's Cryo RDT Rents in eighth. Sisu 2 for ninth. What a race it was out there for week 91 of the WTRL Team Time Trial, brought to you by No Pins.
And in the Vienna Properties, it's Sox for Watts, Old Sox for 45.08, Sox for Watts, Sox and Roll, taking the second place as well. Nice job to Sox for Watts in those top two spots. Sunrise Racing Team 2 for third. That was quite the battle, only 3 seconds there. BLZR there, fourth place with the 45.51. Again, only 1 second back with WTRL Watts up. TFC Eclipse there with the 46.03. In sixth place, Kirshmer E-Cycling Ladies, 46.22. Cryogen Blue Jays, BRT Dark Kittens, and Vegan Bees, all rounding out the top 10.
This will be our Vienna Lattes, another Sox for Watts. It's Sox for Watts, Whatnots taking the win. The Evo Comets for silver, Vikings in for bronze. Z-Sunar Pluto, fourth place. Kirkmeyer E-Cycling the Sunflowers in fifth. Pop Cycles in sixth. Glasgow Tri Allender in seventh. Total Tri Ladies 4. They'll take eighth today. GC Mad Jalapenos in ninth. And then Z-Sunar Urson rounding out our top 10 for our Vienna Lattes.
And then finally in the Vienna of Mochas here is going to be Revo Duvels, followed up by Ixtan CC Women there. It's going to be a 9-second difference. There's Z-Sun Hydra there in third with a 51.11. Rugby Triathlon Club 52.53. Live by Cycling Gold there 53.04 in fifth place. PCC Panthers there with the 54.13. Thanks for bringing me back to teenage listening to music with the Portishead there. C3C Tornadoes there, 54.57. And then No Drama Llamas. Aaron's killing it there at a 55.40. In eighth place, HDR Bada Boom in ninth. And then the Pop Tarts coming out of the toaster at 57.53. So that is the results on the day. Do we have number 92 is going to be not on Motopia Figure 8, but we'll be here for number 92 next week. Same time, same place. You want to register for it. It's going to be next Wednesday is when it closes, 7 p.m. UK time, 1 p.m. Central time. Dave, thanks a lot. Again, it's always fun. And I'm going to be racing, actually. Be on the watch out over on Zwift Live, everybody. Over on Zwift Live tomorrow, the Tour de Oz is happening, stage 1, 2, and 3. I think we're going to have some special guests. Matthew Keenan, Kate Bates is going to be on. I think I'm going to be racing in that. So make sure to check that out. We'll obviously be back over after the weekend for Premier Division next week on Zwift Live and all of the ZRL all day Tuesday. As always, everybody, great job. Check out the results, WTRL.racing, and ride on.